Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Heroes Chapter 3. When we last left our heroes, see what I did there? So the Fairy Tail and the Eden Zero crews kind of met up. They, kind of introduced themselves to each other, and they realized that Homura is probably at the town of Oasis, somewhere on the island, and so Natsu and Shiki ran off right away. Meanwhile, Haru, Musika, and Ellie beat up a bunch of imaginary soldiers on the way to get the Darkbring Oasis, because Oasis is actually a Darkbring. That was the big reveal. And then when Shiki and Natsu were in the town where Oasis is, that might also be called Oasis, it's a little vague, they ran into, I think their names were Julia and Jet from Ravemaster. And that's kind of where we left off, with Natsu remarking that they smelled like dragons. So let's jump right on into Chapter 3, Rebel. We have a bunch of the mascot characters here, from Plu to Happy to Griffincado, Carla, Pino, some weird duck guy who I'm guessing is from Ravemaster, but I just don't remember, and the sun from the Pillar, and the great creator can create. I'm so good with the words tonight. So anyway, we opened right where we left off. It's Let, not Jet. Let and Julia, Rave, versus Natsu, Fairy Tail, and Shiki, Eden Zero. And we see they're still squaring off, and Shiki remarks, "What is with these guys? They smell like dragons." And Let and Julia both, go right in it. "Let's go! Big Sis is gonna crush you!" Ha! And Let kind of kicks Natsu across the face. It looks like it hits. Natsu kind of, leans from that kick into a backflip. "I don't know who you are, but I'm not losing a fight. Oh yeah!" And he, knees, Let in the face. And he then goes, flying through a bunch, several, market stalls are all destroyed by Natsu's knee. "This guy, his strength's incredible, and he's clad in flames." Heh, and Natsu kind of, chuckles at him. "Natsu, you're so amazing!" Shiki's, eyes wide. He loves this guy already. And he notices, Shiki notices arms around his chest. Oh! And looks like Julia is, suplexed him? Yeah, Julia just, suplexes him. "That's all you got? I'm not losing either." And Shiki activates his ether gear and, has them float, and then flings Julia away. Kya! And she, lands, she, jumps back onto her feet with some cool acrobatics there. "Now you've done it. What do you call that move? You're amazing, too." "Fire Dragon's Flare!" And that's Let, who is apparently also a fire dragon. Again, my Ravemaster memories are very weird, are very vague, and a part of me feels like he wasn't. I feel like I would have remembered if there was another fire dragon in Eden Zero, because as I've said in the past video, most of my another fire dragon in Ravemaster. But as I've said in the past video, most of my Ravemaster memories are all how terms in Ravemaster were later used in Fairy Tail. Anyway, so Natsu responds to Fire Dragon's Flare with Fire Dragon's Roar! What? And we see the two Fire Dragon attacks kind of, clash. Dragon Race? Dragon Slayer magic? We sure are meeting a bunch of strange people today, aren't we? I love Happy's face here. It's so calm. Though also, if there's a Dragon Race in Ravemaster, which I don't remember much about, so maybe this isn't actually an issue, how would that relate to the dragons of Fairy Tail? Is there a way they could coexist? People who know more about Rave than I do. Because, I joke a lot in 100 Years Quest that Acnologia just cannot track dragons, and that's how there are so many dragons on Giltena. So, maybe there's just a whole other continent full of dragons that Acnologia never knew about, because he's very clearly not very good at this dragon tracking thing. But I'm probably thinking way too deep into this. Because anyway, after that, we got back to Haru and the Great Creator. So when we last left them off, the Great Creator asked Haru if he seemed like a bad guy, despite his use of Darkbring. "You sure don't look like a bad guy, but a Darkbring steeps the hearts of people into darkness." "So you lose your heart in exchange for power. I see. So that's why it's called the Darkbring." And the Great Creator jumps off the hands of the statue, and lands on, does this flip thing and lands on the floor of the temple. This is the final power of imagination. And he stands up, and Haru looks at him confused. To stick a stylish landing. When I imagine something, it becomes reality. It's a truly incredible power. I love that, like, he at times, like, this wise guy, but also, like, he's a dork. You know, he uses the power of imagination to look cool. Good for him. But anyway, Shinra yells out, "Don't give him Oasis!" I use this power to help and enrich people's lives on this island. When you put it that way, I don't want to destroy it. The creator holds out Oasis for Haru. However, prosperity cannot last from overusing power. We must do away with the stone's power and continue to live by our own. And Haru grins, and we see Shinra's like freaking out to a kind of absurd, to a very extreme degree. I'm not sure if that's meant to be he doesn't think the town can survive without Oasis, or if there's something more sinister there. I'm not sure. However, this stone is the island's sacred treasure, passed down through generations. If we destroy this stone now, I cannot imagine what would happen. It may have some impact on the island. And Haru is shocked by that, and Shinra runs up to them carrying a knife. Don't! Shinra, and Shinra, like, knifes the Great Creator. There goes my answer about last page. And Haru is shocked by the Great Creator is at least unconscious, if not dead. And Shinra grabs Oasis. I won't let anybody destroy Oasis. What are you doing? And Haru grabs his sword, and we see a light shine from Oasis, and Haru is blown back. Gwa! Shinra, what are you? Great Creator. No, Mashima. Your time has ended. From now on, I am the Great Creator. It can't be. The one whose heart was steeped in darkness was... You were always by my side. It was you. So I guess Shinra absorbed all the darkness from the Darkbring instead of Mashima? Again, it's a little bad that I'm so, like, not caught up with Raidmaster lore when all of the mechanics of this series are so based in Raidmaster lore. You know, it all revolves around the Darkbring, and I only have very vague memories about the Darkbrings in particular, so we're gonna keep going at it. This is the power of imagination, and he holds up the Darkbring as it, like, glows. The power to make all of my dreams come true! And he summons all this, like, gold and treasure chests and jewels and all kinds of shit. Stop! And Haru runs after him. They're overflowing. My dreams! Wah! And, like, I think it's either the power of Oasis that cracks the ground, or it's the weight of the treasure. I think it's just the power of Oasis. And Shinra cracks the ground around Haru. Ha 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 ha! And Haru, like, falls down, and he lands right where Musica and Ellie are. Haru came falling? What is going on? This is Poopoon! And Haru looks at the rest of the team. Mission failed. Retreat! And elsewhere, Homer is noticing, like, the crumbling ziggurat. What's that sound? Or rather, these vibrations. And Ichi is, like, weeping. This is bad. It's crumbling. To think my handsome self would die here. Men! And Jigglebutt, help me! And she gets up. But she falls back down, I think? I think maybe the floor crumbles around her, and so she's now free of her cell. But she doesn't save herself, because we can see her hands are still bound, so she couldn't summon her ether gear. I'm saved! Baddish person and good voice person from next door. Are you alright? Rubble up my butt. There's rubble wedged up my butt. I didn't die. It's the parfum of survival. I do really love that Jigglebot and Ichi are paired together, because they're both such dumpster fires. Anyway, we cut back to the town, where Rebecca, Lucy, Urza, and Gray, and Wendy are now looking for Natsu and Shiki. Natsu! Shiki! I really love, you can really see looking at Rebecca and Lucy, just like how, like, there are a lot of, like, cracks of, oh, Lucy and Rebecca are, like, the same character, or the same design, or whatever. But you can see there's, like, a kind of, like, gentleness to Lucy calling for Natsu, and Rebecca just looks mad. Like, goddamn this boy, get back here. And Gray kind of, like, Gray is just, how far did those guys go? They went into town, if I'm not mistaken. And Pino is, like, noticed a starfish. Unidentified Unidentified life form discovered. We're at the beach. It's just a starfish. Is that Happy or Carla? I think it's Carla. Is that really a starfish? And Carla picks it up. It's definitely a starfish. New species of starfish class echinoderm discovered. Kya! Wendy? We see this kind of tentacle thing. Oh no. There's a tentacle around Wendy's leg. What is this? Eek! And Urza summons a sword, and she, chops up the tentacles. Let go of Wendy! Sorry, that was a too high voice for Urza. Let go of Wendy. Phenomenon of sudden sword materialization confirmed. And Gray notices more of them. Hey, those black things. They're everywhere. And Rebecca and Lucy, both grabbed onto each other. This can only lead to one cliche. Beautiful girl, tentacle erotica. And we see it definitely is because it's Shinra using Oasis. Girls at the mercy of tentacles. I've dreamed of that happening at least once. I guess this takes fan service to a far more... you can make a lot of cracks. Oh, this is the concept of the crossover is fan service. And so is this, I guess. I do love that Rebecca and Lucy both, there's a bit of a self-aware meta-ness here. Both Rebecca and Lucy, recognizing that they are the kind of character that gets attacked by tentacles. I don't like that they are the kind of character that gets attacked by tentacles, but they at least acknowledge it. Anyway. So where was I? Girls at the mercy of tentacles. I dreamed that happening at least once. And he, hunches down. I guess that's why I'm so unpopular. I'm glad he recognizes it. No, I have the power of imagination now. I can have all the women I want. And I also want to become him. I imagine his appearance, his power. I don't know who the him is, but he transforms. Amazing. So this is the power of Oasis. I have now become a god. My name is Genesis. He's a Jellal clone! What? I will remake this world to my heart's content. Or a Sieg Hart clone, or a Justice clone. Imagination, in other words, infinite power. Oasis has finally shown the true power of the evil stones. So, I don't remember Sieg Hart being a god, right? Though maybe that happens in the manga, I don't know. So, if Sieg Hart is not a god and Brave Master, which someone I imagine will tell me in the comments, if Sieg Hart isn't... Also, I think Sieg Hart had shaggier hair than that. So I don't think he's becoming Sieg Hart. Is this series going to give us an explanation for all the Jellal clones? Why there's always a character with the same face? Because the Genesis name also, Genesis is the beginning, So is this series an origin story for all the Siegs? Because I really want that to be the case. That would be so funny. But also, this is, I think, someone who is more observant than I am has already noted that Gray has his Alvarez scars already, so maybe it's not actually. So it would involve some time shenanigans if Genesis is, the origin of all the Siegs, so to speak. So yeah, this chapter was fun. Getting to see Natsu and Shiki have at it. I really want to see Natsu, because I'm not that into Raid Master, because it was something I always meant to get around to reading, but never did. I'm not super, invested in seeing them pair off against, Raid Master characters one-on-one. I'd be really into it if Natsu and Shiki, teamed up. And, we're doing, combo attacks together. That would be really cool. I'm not sure what combo attacks Gravity and Fire have, but that would be really cool to see. But yeah, the fights with Let and Julia were fun. But again, I really want to see more Natsu and Shiki teaming up going forward. Also, as Team Haru is retreating from the ziggurat, I imagine they will see this fight in the square. I'm shocked the rest of Teams Fairy Tail and Eden Zero have not seen that already, because there was a giant explosion. They had to have seen it. But yeah, I imagine Haru will find this and be like, no, no, I don't think they're evil. Or maybe they won't know, because they've actually never met, unless we're counting Brave X Fairy Tail as canon, in which case they have met. But I don't think I ever watched Fairy Tail X Brave, so I don't know how... I imagine they got along. So if Fairy Tail X Brave ends up being Heroes canon, that will kind of clear all this stuff up. Then we have the whole scene in the ziggurat with Oasis. I mean, it's a fairly basic betrayal scene as we find out who our real villain is Shinra, who is now Genesis. And then, yeah, Homura is mostly free. She's still bound, and because her powers come from moving her arms, she's not in a great spot yet. But maybe with her Ichiya and Jigglebutt are quite a trio. So we'll see how well that goes next week. And then, yeah, there's the tentacles. And it's at least self-aware to be aware it's basically just there for tentacle porn. Doesn't mean I have to be happy about it. But we'll see what actually comes of that next week before we make any judgments. If nothing comes of it, and it's just, it's not an excuse to leer at Rebecca and Lucy, and it's instead motivation for Rebecca and Lucy to fight extra hard, that would be fine. But then, yeah, there's... Beyond that, just Shinra becomes another Jellal. My name is Genesis. Maybe he will be the first Jellal? The first Sieg? I don't know. That's all I have to say for this chapter. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe. Do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!